You're live, Commissioner.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners Budget Work Session for Friday, October 8th, 2021. It is 11:02 a.m. My name is Ty Mentor, Chair of the Board. Here in the boardroom with me is the County Manager, Miriam Chavez, and Assistant County Manager, Robin Campbell. We have Commissioner Carolina Mejia and Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards participating through Zoom. First session this morning is the Clerk's office. We have our County Clerk, Linda Enlow. And
good morning.
Good morning. Key members of our budget team. We've got 45 minutes lined up for this one, and then we'll be in a separate session at 1:30 to review District Court, Prosecuting Attorney, and Public Defense. But this morning we've got just the clerk, so with that introduction, we'll go straight to County Clerk.
Hey, thank you. I will go ahead and get started. So just for those of you that don't know, the Thurston County Clerk maintains, preserves, and protects the integrity and accuracy of the Superior Court record and provides the most efficient means for the public to file and purchase documents online. In addition to protecting the integrity and accuracy of the records, the clerk provides staff for all court proceedings to record the court's decisions. The clerk also provides access to justice by assisting victims of domestic violence and self-represented litigants. In the financial area, the clerk collects statutory fees, fines, trust funds, and support funds. Furthermore, the clerk maintains a trust account for monies received for Superior Court cases, receipts, and disperses monies ordered by the court, and provides an investment plan for monies held. The clerk also maintains a collections program to collect legal financial obligations from criminal defendants. So on the next slide, this shows the funds that are managed by the clerk. I'll go on to the challenges that are facing the clerk. The increasing workloads from the Blake decision and the COVID backlog is one of our biggest challenge right now. We're in the process of hiring new employees to cover Blake decision and the backlog. That's going a little bit better now than it was a couple months ago. We are actually drawing qualified applicants and have filled, I think we're almost to regular capacity, but now working on the backlog and Blake decision FTEs. Second challenge is retaining staff due to outdated job descriptions. Over the last several years, we have lost a fair number of employees to higher paying positions within the state and within the county and other local jurisdictions. Our third challenge is our Facilitator Fund revenues will not be able to sustain our current needs in the future. And as you will see in the rest of my presentation, that is one of our priority requests, to move the Facilitator Fund into the general fund. Any questions on the challenges?
Questions from board members? Give me a second to check. Commissioner Mejia, anything? Clicked on and clicked off there. Commissioner Edwards?
No, I don't have any questions yet. Thanks.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Do your raised hand or something if you need to ask the clerk a question. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go on to the policy level proposals. Our priority one request is, as I said, to transfer the facilitator positions to the general fund. That includes 2 FTEs with expenditures of $180,887 and revenue at $173,444. Our second priority is to request the additional FTEs for the 9th judge. We were approved to hire 1 out of the 3.5 that we originally requested, and we're requesting the additional 2.5 for this policy level request. Priority 3 request is to eliminate FTEs in the general fund and transfer the funding to 2.5 FTEs. And I believe that is our last request. Are there any questions?
Go ahead, County Manager.
The prayer number 3, can you elaborate? I don't quite get that.
So I have to apologize. I do not, this is the only one I do not quite remember. I have Tawny is out of the office due to an emergency in her family. I will get that answer for you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, if we can get some clarification on that, that will be.
Absolutely. I will get that to all of you, including the board.
Yeah.
Hang on a second, Ramiro, which, or maybe Robin, which one are we talking about on the cheat sheets that we have? Number
So
7.
the B0503 is line 4, it's on page 2.
I'll pull them up on what it was.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have notes from Tawny. I went over it with her. I'm just pulling them up really quick to see.
Oh, wonderful, because I don't have those.
No, it's totally fine.
Let him know before.
My O drive was being kind of odd this morning. So one sec.
They are requesting,
Primary notes.
the elimination of judicial proceeding specialist position, and instead of this, they would like 2 accounting specialists. They've currently got a part-time accounting specialist that they would like to make full-time, and a legal records coordinator that they would want to make full-time.
And all that's gonna cost $3,500?
Well, that would be the difference between, that's, yeah, making all these changes, because they're gonna eliminate a position and then use the savings from the eliminated position to create these, to do these other adjustments. So it's basically a kind of a reorganization of her organization, and it looks like the additional cost is about $3,500.
Yes,
Is that right?
and it will better align with what our current needs are. I do recall this a little better now.
Right.
Thank you, Robin.
Sure. So, however, they are also asking on BO 504, and this is the clerk's second highest priority, to add judicial specialists for the new judge. So instead of moving this current judicial specialist to be one of the 2 they need for the judges and ask for these other adjustments for reorg, they're eliminating it's, with all due respect, it's a little disingenuous, because in this other one, they're asking you to create 2 of what they're eliminating 1 of here.
Okay, so. Okay, and then, I guess I have questions. I'd like to go back to the first one. Or wait, hold on. Before we do that, Olivia, did you have something from Connie's notes that you wanted to share?
I haven't found them yet, but I did want to make a comment I had from Tawny when we were chatting. So a part of B-05-01, the transfer facilitator position, we just wanted to make sure, her and I, that you understood that a part of that request is they are asking that you remove or excuse $7,027 of the cost plan, which is money that directly goes to the general fund. So within that request, because they're trying to preserve Fund 1020, which is sorry if you look at a cheat sheet, which is the Family Court Services Fund, That is a specific request within it, is that that gets excused. And those were, the cost plan was presented to you from Financial Services in June. And I will keep looking for my other notes on her, but that was one that I had written down to make sure that you were aware of.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm sorry, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if
I don't
I'm,
understand that at all.
don't know where my seatmates are, but number one was where I was gonna head back to, because I didn't really understand it at all.
So,
Go ahead, Linda.
so the Facilitator Fund, which was created way back when the Facilitator program was started back in the early, oh my goodness, I think mid-90s, that fund has up to this point been able to sustain the FTEs in it. And in 2008, we actually moved several positions into that fund during the downturn. I believe we lost 8 to 10 positions. And so to preserve those positions, we moved them into that fund so that we didn't have to lay them off. But over the years, with many different reasons, not selling as many form packets, the court waives a lot of filing fees due to legitimate reasons. That fund has not been able to sustain, and we predict that it will not be able to sustain those 2 FTEs. That's why we're before you today, to move them into the general fund. We also, I believe, submitted a letter from Superior Court in support of preserving that program, as it is vital to ensure that final court documents are reviewed and prepared for the court's final review and signature.
So Linda, when I'm looking at this, it says revenue change 173, and then, so it's really, is it just a small shortfall then? And you're trying to make up those gaps through the general fund by moving the revenue and the expenditure over?
Yes, well, it's small now, but it will continue to go down.
Do you have a 10-year financial plan of this fund?
I'm sure we do.
That will be great to have.
Okay.
Just to see, how the fund is behaving, or perhaps that's my word, related to this proposal.
We didn't receive it, we don't have it here.
No, I'm just seeing
we
if
don't.
there's anything in here I can glean.
We don't
Yeah,
have it,
but
but that
we
would be
don't
great
have
to
it
have
here
the
either.
10-year financial plan.
Because they've already backed it out.
Okay, I will get that have Tawny submit that to you. That shouldn't be a problem.
Well, this tells me something, which this tells me is that, oh, this is already after, okay. But it's the margin
Hi, this is
small.
Connie. I'm sorry for being late signing on, but I am on now.
Thank you, Tawny. I think we have questions for you. We're
I
starting,
think we have several, Tawny.
right now we have to be
Sorry.
talking about the Facilitator Fund and what the financial outlook for that is, and then what, kind of what the impact of the general fund would be by the shift over. Can you kind of maybe elaborate on that?
Yeah, so actually earlier this year, I was thinking that the impact on general fund would probably end up in a result of about a $10,000 hit to the general fund. But in reviewing the stuff recently, actually, I think that the overall would be about a $4,000 overage or plus to general fund. So it would be pretty much a break even at this point.
So are you saying, and I would ask the board to look at line 1 on page 1, the revenue. The revenue reported currently in the budget system is just over 173,000. Are you saying it's going to be a little higher than that?
Yeah, in looking at the trends of how the appointments have been going and stuff, having the facilitators back in the office has helped with that part of the revenue, and as well as our form sales with having the court operating a little more normal.
Okay, So the impact on the general fund, if you move this whole thing into the general fund, both the revenue and the expenses, is gonna be the gap between the amount of revenue coming in and what they're paying for these two FTEs.
Roughly how much is that?
It looks roughly in 22, if the revenue came in as shown on this worksheet, the impact in 2022 would be about $7,000. In 2023, the impact would be about $11,000.
And then what, we just get rid of
Yes,
this fund?
I'm sorry,
Yes,
what?
that
Then we
is
just close this fund
accurate.
out?
And they
And-
are suggesting that, yes, they close this fund out.
But also is the long-term commitment, because since the revenue beyond the 2023 coming from this fund may not be there in the future years.
That's correct.
So the commitment is also is on the impact on the general fund on the long term beyond 2023.
If this gap continues to grow,
Yeah,
but
because,
maybe it won't.
and that's what, it would be great to have the 10-year financial plan of this fund, because that will give the board a clear picture, whether maybe on the first year, 7,000 impact, second year, 10,000, perhaps in the third year is gonna be 180,000, I'm just.
Wait a minute, you give me a.
No,
I don't-
that's what,
so-
that's what I.
Okay, hold on, so I got 4 people. Tawny's trying to speak, I see Olivia's hand, and then we'll get the commissioners.
Olivia.
Go ahead, Tawny.
I just want to clarify. So, yes, I in all full disclosure, I do believe that this slowly will have more of an impact on general fund. I do not believe that it will be go from 11,000 to 180,000. I think over time,
I do.
yes, it will have an impact because as you all know, things are changing. More filing fees are being waived, which has an impact on this. There's free forms online for people that are going through these processes by themselves that gives them access to more things for free. And so those things will have an impact, but those things also make these two positions more crucial because these facilitators are meeting with these people, trying to go through these processes by themselves, and it saves the court a huge amount of time and saves the people coming back and back and back because their paperwork is not correct or completed thoroughly. So without these two facilitators, and I think you saw that in the support from the court, if we don't have those two facilitators, it's going to have an impact on the court.
Okay, great. Yeah, as a former family law attorney, I can attest that those facilitators are really useful when you have to litigate against pro se litigants and they don't have anyone to help them. Olivia, what did you have?
Brian uploaded your guys' 10-year plan with the change request. It's updated as of August 1st. If you'd like me to, I don't think I can share my screen, but I could shoot it over to Amy and she could print it off for you really quick.
Let's do that.
Okay. And is Amy in the room to do
Katie,
that?
can you send it to Katie? Because Amy's not here.
Okay, I'll do that now.
Okay, Commissioner Edwards.
No, I was just concerned about the general fund and how that was gonna impact. That was my whole.
I'm on that growth estimate. And then, okay, Commissioner Mejia, anything?
No, sir.
Okay, so now I do understand this one, that's good. So let's look at, the second one I think I understand, which is about the additional FTEs for the 9th judge. I don't know that I have questions there. Let's talk about the third one. Tawny, we did talk, before you got online, there were some questions about this piece, the reorganization elements. I can't remember what the questions were, just kind of how they connected to the new FTEs for the 9th judge. Is there anything you could sort of explain about number 3?
So those are not connected to the 9th judge at all. These are FTEs that have been, we have been using the money from the position we're asking to eliminate to fund those two positions full time. One is a records coordinator, which is crucial to processing the records and exhibits and that for the office. And the other one is an accounting position in our accounting office. And really, we could easily ask for another FTE in our accounting department, but we've just the last couple of years have made those adjustments just to not have to come in and ask for new positions, but reallocate how we can make things work.
Robin?
So Tawny, why would you not
Yeah.
take this vacant judicial proceeding specialist and use it as one of the judicial proceeding specialists you need for the new judge?
Well, we could do that, but then I would be asking for
I need the account.
then the time to be taken to full. So I guess, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, if you want to increase these two half to full and then decrease our ninth judge request by one proceeding specialist, it's the same thing. So, I mean, either way, I just need those two half-time positions to be whole, and then would keep this position and just take our ninth judge down by one. I mean, whichever way you want to do it's fine.
I get that, okay. There's also two things on this sheet that we didn't touch on. I'd just like to, the board's gonna be going through each item on these cheat sheets we have. And so let's look at line item 3, eliminate position in fund 1910 LFO collection.
Right. What is that?
I believe that's a position that we promoted to a manager, and we are asking for that FTE to be eliminated because we did not fill it.
So you're just giving this up?
Well, and
There's the savings there.
so this is all out of our LFO fund, and as you know, the history on the LFOs, the collections are going down. The court is no longer assessing a lot of assessments. And so we've seen our LFO fund over the years going down. We went from 3 to 2 collection officers several years ago. Now, with the revenues coming in on the LFO fund, it can only support one FTE. And quite frankly, we don't have the workload. We have no way other than wage assignments, to actually do collection anymore. All of our other tools in our tool belt are gone. And it's just the change of times. And so I think actually the one position left in our collection fund probably will go away in the next 5 to 10 years itself.
Could you please send the LFO fund financial plan as well?
Yes.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commissioner McGee first.
Well, no, I was gonna, so we just got the 10-year financial plan. And Robin, you
For
said
the
that,
facilitator.
yeah, for the facilitator, and, you said in 2023 it would be 11,000, but in 2023, I'm seeing 114,000. Is that the gap we would have to cover?
The financial statement that you're seeing is updated through the end of July. So we do not have one with their newest assumptions in there. So this is as if they didn't remove that position. You'll see that that's what it would be projected to be negative in 21 and 22. So they didn't have a chance to update it.
Thank you, Olivia. So this is a compounded. This is when you start in a negative position and you're in even more of a negative position. So what's happening?
Right. So we could. Right. So we can surely make that adjustment and send you a new one.
Okay, that'd be great. But just based on what they've got, it's the difference between the revenue, which will now go into the general fund, and the expenses, which will now be part of the general fund. So the difference between, and I don't know what this $35,000 is, but basically, it's the difference between this 187,000 and 229,000. So it's a little more because they show 180,000 going in, that excludes interfund costs that would now also go to the general fund. So it's a little more,
So, but, and exactly, and that's what I think I understand, this proposal is to bring all the revenues and
yeah,
all the expenditures into the general fund. And based on this,
it's the gap.
is the gap on 22, like 52,000, 23, 114,000. So either we maintain this, the fund as it is, or bring everything to the general fund. That is going to be the impact of the general fund.
Right, and really you can't, to maintain this fund, either you have to move some or all of the FTEs out of it anyway, or you need to reduce FTEs, period. And this is the argument that, or the business case that Tawny was making, and Linda, that the facilitators are needed, especially given the fact that more and more people are trying to fill out their own court papers. So how you pay for them becomes the question. And do we maintain 2 full-time FTEs? But this fund, the way it's structured, is going in the red.
If we don't, the bottom line is, if we don't do this, we're gonna have to lose at least one of our facilitators. There's 2, right?
Or cut them down to part-time, one of them down to part-time, or yes, there are 2.
Because the money's basically run out,
That's right.
and it's
We're
not
running out of money.
self-sustaining.
And
Or we
that's
could
correct.
subsidize them to the.
That's right.
I also, if I could just share, the facilitators are pretty much a book solid. They are booked usually a week and a half to 2 weeks out on appointments.
And they will have an additional, well, it's kind of a change in case types due to a change in law related to guardianship custody cases, that they will soon be able to start reviewing those paperwork also.
Okay, so any more about this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
I guess, I think this is more of a suggestion to simplify things for us. I think I have a pretty good understanding of the clerk's operation from maybe my past perspective. And Commissioner Mentzer probably has a good understanding from his past perspective, I guess. But I just don't know if we should be trying to figure out which funds to consolidate and which ones not to, which ones we should eliminate. I think our thing is more about revenue and expenditures. And I'm always watching out for the general fund for sure. But this kind of stuff, I just wonder I think of this as more your bailiwick, Robin, than mine.
I appreciate that, Commissioner, but it is your job to appropriate and monitor every fund in the
I
county.
realize that, but we have you here for a purpose. And I just think that you should work this stuff out. That's all I'm gonna say, with the clerk, and
The information that you need is exactly what is presented before you today, is the impact of the general fund.
Yeah,
and that's what my concern is.
But if you accept or approve the recommendations from the clerk, that is the impact.
Yeah.
And that is the information that we're providing to you.
And it shows right here the impact, just like you suggested.
So it's nothing.
And that's a simple decision for me,
that is the conversation
versus
here.
trying to consolidate what funds and how is best the process to do it and when.
The proposal, see, this is the reason that I can't make these decisions. The proposal from the clerk is to move these costs into the general fund with an ongoing impact to the general fund.
Well, it better have revenue that comes along with it.
It doesn't have enough revenue. That's what we're saying.
That's the issue. based on this financial.
That's why this is
But I'm
not
not
a
the
decision
bookkeeper.
I can make.
Maybe I'm just dumber than everybody else, but
No,
I
you're
just,
not.
it gets pretty complicated.
It is complicated, you are not dumb by any stretch of the imagination. But I can't say, you should do this, because there is an impact to the general fund, because if you transfer the cost, there's not enough revenue. Otherwise, they could remain in this fund. And you have a choice, to reduce the FTEs in the clerk's office. That's the board's prerogative, and that's why the decision is yours to make.
Well, sure, but we want to make sure the clerk's office functions properly for the citizens of Thurston
Well,
County. That's the bottom line. We do have additional revenue coming in the form of general fund from sales tax and, you know, different things like that
Right.
that we could look at to pass this on, but I
Right,
mean, we've got other things to figure out too. Next week, we've got
That's-
some decisions to make, and
and that
so
is,
it's almost like it's premature to decide, are we gonna give
No,
her
you're-
X
No,
to move ahead?
you're not deciding today.
I know,
Just-
but she wants my report card.
I do want your report card, and that's why, you know, is this a high, a medium, or a low priority for you on first blush that you'll get to assess after you've heard about all of the pressures on the general fund?
Okay.
But that's exactly, I mean, this is the thing. We've talked about the it's all good principle. Who would not want to continue to fund these FTEs? It's a good thing to do, it's
Yes.
good for the county, it's good for the courts, it's good for the citizens. And yet, it might not be the most important thing when you look at all of the other pressures of how to spend that extra sales tax that's coming in. And that's.
Okay, I guess I'm just
the part
frustrated
of
on the minutia that I don't, I'm not a bookkeeper, I don't, you know.
This is
I'm glad you're a
more than
bookkeeper.
bookkeeping.
Okay.
More
Okay.
than bookkeeping.
So I have a question. I still see another item that we didn't talk about, which is item 7. Request for extension of records auditor position funded by the auditor's office. I was trying to go through the auditor stuff this morning and getting myself just chasing my tail of not understanding where money's going where when it comes to these clerk auditor pieces. So I need help with this one.
So see the revenue to the general fund here?
$70,000?
Yep, that revenue is coming out of the clerk's records fund.
The auditors.
Thank you, oh my gosh, yes, from the auditors.
I'm glad you get confused on it too. That makes me
We
feel
got
better.
80-some funds.
I know.
Yep,
But
so,
this is an ongoing.
yes,
It
this
has
is
been
an
already
ongoing
in place,
cost.
so the clerk's office is recommended for you to continue supporting this because this has been ongoing for 2 years, you say, Linda?
That's correct.
Right, and they don't have the records all updated and imaged yet. So this would be paid for by the auditor. The auditor has said no, thank you to a direct appropriation out of a fund that she administers. So she's asking that it continue to be done on a transfer. So to continue the positions in the clerk's office, we would continue to transfer money. That's the line item you saw in the auditor's budget, to transfer money into the general fund so the clerk's position can continue.
So auditor agrees, clerk agrees, no
Yep.
impact to general fund.
Correct.
So,
Sounds like a
So-
no-brainer.
Say yes to that.
yeah, so-
That is an easy.
I think so.
Then you can put high, medium, or low on this one.
Yep, make it high.
Okay,
All right.
I like that. Then, okay, then
I
does
think
that
that's
get everybody
all.
where they need to be?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Tawny.
You're welcome.
I think we're good to go. We'll be adjourned.
All right, and we'll get an updated financial plan for the facilitator to you guys next week.
And
Thank
the
you.
LFO fund,
And the LFO fund.
yes. Thank you.
Okay, we can do both, no problem. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Yes, we're good.